Welcome, all of you risk takers and truth seekers, to the podcast Life, the Battlefield. Today, we're going to learn how to breathe. I know you're going to say, but I'm breathing 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. But you are wrong. I was wrong. And to prove this to you guys, how breathing is important to reduce the stress, to reduce your worries, to become better person, maybe you're going to lose the weight. I have a guest from other side of the planet, directly from South Africa, Tim Wagner. Tim, good morning to you. Good afternoon to me.
Well, good afternoon and good morning and good evening. Yes, wonderful to be here. Mario, absolute
Good
pleasure.
evening, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, it's a winter time now in South Africa. It's close to 7 a.m. in the morning, and before the sun hits the Tim Street, you know what I mean? Let's go have him in nicely, peacefully, quietly talking. You know, he's taking time from his life to discuss with us, Tim, how he can help other people. But before that, please introduce yourself to everybody. You have a very interesting career, so please guide us into this transformation from Tim corporate person to Tim today helping thousands of people across the globe.
That's the interesting one, is the transformation from being in corporate, and I was in corporate hospitality for 27 years, to now focusing on breath to help people become better versions of themselves. The shift is quite profound. I did the traditional thing, Mario. Left school, studied, worked hard. My industry was hospitality. I don't know why, it just was. And for many years, I knew that it wasn't where my true passion was. So I started to combine personal development, because I really wanted to help all my staff, and then I had businesses on the side of my job. I wanted to help people become better versions of themselves. That's been a key drive of myself. My story was I wanted to progress to be better. So I thought, if I want to do this, I want to bring people with me for the journey. So I did that I've been doing it for 16 years. And in 2018, just before few years before the whole chaos that the world went into, I decided, that's it. I'm finished with this career of hospitality where you get the job, go into debt, have the family, go into more debt. Now my son was older, leaving home, and I thought, what do I do with the next stage of my life? Where do I go next? What's my purpose? Why am I actually here? So I started on a journey of self-discovery. And interestingly enough, the one thing that was a huge change, we all have those big changes in our life, those stages where there's a new chapter, right? Yes. So just over 2 years ago, we sold our family home and decided to travel. So we traveled South Africa for 1.5 years. And that was a time where I could really ask and find out, what do I want to do with my life? And I realized that I actually knew the answer all along. I want to impart my knowledge. I want to learn and then help other people become better versions of themselves. I've been doing it for years. I love talking. I love coaching. But Mario, there was one key thing that was missing in all the years that I've been a coach or a mentor or a guide or a teacher. Why do so few people adopt the new information, the new way of thinking, the valuable information for their long-term growth? That affected me. I was the one who was always learning and growing and teaching. But other people would fall back into default when the shit hit the fan, right? Time get tough, you go back to doing what you've always done.
Yes, correct, yes. I agree with you, yes.
Yeah, so I wanted to think now, but there has to be a way that I can help people adopt what I'm sharing, so that in 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years down the line, they have taken it on board and are now better versions of themselves. And in this questioning of the universe, what is this? How can I be different? How can I be more impactful? Something called breathwork, transformational breathwork, landed in my realm, in my life. And I didn't know what it was.
Are you trying to teach us how to breathe? Are you trying to teach us how to breathe? I've breathing for 50 years. Why would I?
Exactly. I've been breathing for 51 years. And I thought, it was, it was at the beginning an interesting thing. I've been a healthy person all my life. I believe I've enjoyed sport and activities. So I thought, this is interesting. So I went on something called a transformational breathwork journey, which is a 90-minute session of which 45 minutes is deep somatic breathing, deep belly breathing. When you combine this with music and NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, which is what the guide takes you through, this is where you can actually get to a state, a deep theta brainwave state. So you've got beta, alpha, and then theta.
Yes.
Theta is where your subconscious lies, all the habits, your past history, all your things. We operate out of 90% of our lives, and our actions and things we say and do are done from a subconscious state. So this breathing, I went on this journey, Mario, and during this process, I suddenly realized that this was the answer I was looking for. As people, we can't move forward in life when we're living in such a stressed state. We live in stress, we carry anxiety, we carry trauma. And then here comes this coach, Tim, and he's giving you all this new information into your brain, right?
Okay.
But it can't go in when we're not able to adopt it. And that was what my realization was during this process. That was that epiphany moment, that light bulb went on, where I said, this is the challenge that we as a society have. We're living in such a stressed state. Has it got worse or better in the last 3 years? Worse. There's more stress in the world. Go.
Can I interrupt you, Tim? Like, I want you to have that breather, right? So, like, I want you to take a deep breath. You know what I mean? If you have the sip of water, because there's many questions come across now as we conversing. You in South Africa, me in Australia, and I'm very grateful, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna put you in the comment section below the details how you can contact the team, and I want to say thank you, Tim, for being with us this morning, your very morning. So, Tim, one thing you said very important. I want you to clarify for everybody, because it seems to me that people don't understand the meaning of the life. And I was the one, because my father told me, one day when you finish the army at age 18, find yourself a wife, have the kids, have the mortgage, just get out, just get out from my life and and I was thinking myself like, why you want me this? Why don't you believe in me? I can do something more. No, you finish your high school then in Yugoslavia, it was compulsory to serve for free 2 years of the army. And then your expectations like find somebody married and get out. You know what I mean? So that was sort of like a plan for my parents. Fortunately for me, it was different. I done differently. But Tim, you said something very important, very profound. Why do we, as a humans, accept life as it is? We are born, going to school, we do something, finish maybe university, and then, as you say, let's go do the work, let's go take the mortgage, let's go do, the diabetes, cancer, blood pressure, all these beautiful diseases of age 40 and a handful full of pills. Please explain to me, Tim, as a coach, as somebody who understands it better than anybody else, why we accepting life as it is, why we don't ask for more.
That's a very deep question, and we can have a whole podcast just on that one question.
And we will. Today we're going to touch a couple things, yes, but so please, yeah.
The key, I think the first thing is to start and not blame our parents for what they did. They did what they've been taught, and they're just imparting what they did on us.
Interesting, yes.
But things change over time. And if we're taught by our parents, siblings, the government, the media, life, society, that this is the one way things work, it's purely because that's the way it was before, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's the way that it should be now, and it should be for us.
Yes.
When you first sit behind a desk in school at the age of 4, you're told how to think, when to talk, that you have to answer the question, that To get it wrong is bad. That you can't dream. You've got to think this way. It's a program.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. Yes.
It's a programming, Mario. And so we leave then school. The majority of people in the world leave and go, okay, this is the way things are, and off they go. But then you have a few outliers who go, but hang on a second, that's not me. Not what I want my life to be like. I don't want my life the same as my parents. I want different. I want better. I want to live my dream. I want to live a more holistic life. Have different things and not follow that. I knew for years that following the career path in hospitality, probably for the last 10 years of my career, that I knew it wasn't really what I wanted to do. But here was the question. Who was I? I didn't know. I knew what society had told me.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I knew what society had told me who I was and what I had to do. But I didn't believe it was really me. But then the next question comes, what do I do about it? Where do I go? Who do I speak to? How do I think? What do I do? All of these unknowns, and this is where I find a lot of my clients get trapped in what I call overwhelm.
Okay.
That you're in this place, you've been doing what you've been doing for 1 decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, 4 decades. How do you break out of that? And this is then the start of asking the right question. What is my purpose? That was the first question I asked.
See,
Why
that was
am I actually
unbelievable. That was my next question. How we discovering, you said this is as well during the conversation, about purpose. And if you just continue, please, talking about purpose, because I undoubtedly believe that most of us sooner or later discover what our purpose it is, but we are wandering through this life without even knowing what our purpose it is.
Yeah.
Am I correct, Tim? So feel free to tell me to shut up, or I'm wrong, or whatever it is.
I think you're 100% right. We don't know what our purpose is. Many people don't. Even if they think that they do, it's not their purpose, it's their parents' purpose. When your parents kick you out of home, or they said, right, you go study this, you study this because I was a doctor, you go be a doctor. Because I'm a lawyer, you go be a lawyer. You follow the path of your parents. And so that's what you do. So you believe, okay, this is who I am. And somebody says, who are you? Oh, I'm a teacher. No, that's your profession. It's not who you are.
Yeah.
So who are you? What is that purpose? And this was my journey when we were traveling, is to find my purpose. But fortunately, because I've been doing it for so many years, I was asking the right questions to the right people, and I attended a lot of workshops. I paid a lot of coaches. I did a lot of free courses online. There's an amazing amount of material online if you know where to go. And during this process, I came across, not for the first time, I'd heard it before and seen it before, but it didn't have meaning for me at that point. I came across a process to help me identify my true value principles and develop what is called a purpose statement. What is your purpose in life? And the expert, and I use his teaching all the time because I believe he is without doubt, he's been doing it for 5 decades, he should be pretty good at it. And that's a gent by the name of Dr. John DeMartini, where he's got this workshop. It's online, and here's the thing, it's free. He gives it as a gift for people to go and do this online to help you identify what is core to you. When you know your purpose, Mario, you get up in the morning, you know why you're getting up, you get up with energy, you get up with passion, and everything that you do that you align to your purpose, you do with enthusiasm and energy, and you do it well because it is who you are, not what somebody else has told you to go and do.
Can I ask you, Tim, something else? Like now, sorry to interrupt you. Like I want to jump now because I say the question's coming across, and I need to give you the breathing space. You need to have some water and the tea, whatever you're drinking now. So you say we need to identify the purpose. What if society or environment we living um, by, we come across and say, I know my purpose, and I can say this on my behalf now. I can say my purpose is to run the podcast, and I couldn't care less what anybody think. However, don't you believe, would you agree with me, that we're going to be judged if we say what our purpose it is, and how people should behave when they discover what the purpose it is through your coaching?
I think the one biggest fear that we all have is the judgment of others,
Yeah.
being judged by others. Understand it's your journey, your path, your life, not theirs. It's a very difficult step for a lot of people to take, to realize this is my life and not somebody else's. So I'm going to follow my path, which I know is my true belief and my true path, even if it's not yours. I cannot, it's like when you have a dream or a goal. You can share it with somebody, but don't expect them to support you, especially your close friends or your family. You think, this is my dream. I want to start my own international award-winning podcast. It is not their dream. So to expect them to understand your dream, or expect them to support and motivate you in your purpose or your dream or where you actually want to go, it's very difficult because it's not theirs. So all that we need to do is stick true to who you believe you are and do it anyway. And when I started my journey and I started this huge change and transition into where I'm now going, which leads further even down away from where I spent 27 years earning my money and building my businesses, it was a matter of saying, I'm going to do this anyway because this feels good.
But can I ask,
this excites me.
Okay, Tim, try to let me understand. Like, we are same age. You and I, we are same age, except you learn how to breathe, and I still need to discover in our conversation how to breathe. Now,
Right.
who are those people who are judging us? Who are those people, like, in your professional vocabulary and your understanding? Can you describe or define who are the people who are judging us if we step out of the comfort zone and do things we want to do it? Who are those people?
I think primarily there's one as opposed to many.
Okay, interesting, please.
When you look in the mirror, that's the person who is judging you the most.
Really? Okay, that's interesting.
Our self-judgment.
Why I'm
our
surprised.
self-doubt.
You're supposed to say, you're supposed to say, others no. Okay, please,
Yes, others judge. And others impart their beliefs on us. And too often we adopt other people's beliefs in who we are. And then when we look in the mirror, we go, yes, I can see why they say that. So we then adopt their judgment, but we're judging ourselves. If we don't judge ourselves, then it doesn't matter what the other people say because we know who we are intrinsically as true to ourselves. And when you know, really know, as in it's a deep knowing, not an understanding, a knowing of who you are, what you want to do, why you want to do it, and your impact into society. We all need to serve society a lot more. And when everybody serves from a position of love, from empathy, from passion, from energy, from a knowing inside, it doesn't matter what other people say about you because you know who you are. But it's finding that person, which is that journey of discovery. And it's an exciting, yet very scary sometimes, path. Because perhaps
it is scary.
perhaps you were so far off your true path because of society and parents and siblings and government and told you to do this and think that way and so on. But now you're going through and you think, well, I've done it for 30 or 40 years. It hasn't given me the life I want. I'm not where I would like to be at this stage in my life. So perhaps I need to think differently. So the judgment comes from the person in the mirror. That's what I believe. And I'm sticking to that story.
That's a judgment. Interesting. I was expecting you're going to say somebody else, other people. so I can blame everybody around me, not myself. And
Be
I truly
careful
believe we
when you
lost.
blame someone.
Mm, yeah. Look, I've been in that part of my life where everybody's it was everyone's fault for everything was happening to me.
Yeah.
Even yours. I didn't know you 10, 15 years ago. Tim, trust me, it was your fault what's happening to me. Now, this is something I need to learn hard lessons in life to accept things that I can't blame other people for my mistakes. So there's something you confirmed today in conversation. And let's go talk about stress now, Tim. Um, with the purpose, we find the purpose with the judging. We are living daily lives for somebody else. Majority people live daily life for somebody else or working on somebody else's dreams.
Yeah.
With a daily life, from the moment we wake up and go sleep, we are creating a lot of stress to ourselves. And I truly believe the last 2, 3 years, particularly during these lockdowns, it's actually that this stress level it's increased tenfold, for everybody. Now, what is the stress and how the stress impacting our daily life? Regardless as a parents, as a spouse, wife, brother, sister, the employees, how the stress impacting our daily life on all levels?
That's a very lengthy discussion. So I'm going to bring it in to what stress does to yourself, your body. Yes, I agree with you. The last 3 years, the stressed state, the stressed world that we live in, due to this rapid change outside of our control, these other things being thrown at us all the time, it's added a huge amount more stress that we didn't have before. And even back before, we were already living in stressed states. So it's just added on, which has made it an epidemic. Google quickly,
Yes.
research the massive amounts of people who are on antidepressants now, who are going to psychiatrists, psychologists to help with the stress. Have a look
Yes.
at why are some of the growth industries, your holistic healing processes, breathwork as an example of this. It's because people are in such a stress state, they're at that point of break. And when you are living in such a constant stress environment, our bodies are not designed for this. They were never
Yeah.
designed to live in a stressed state. So when your stress of work, business, lack of business, economy, parents, family, loss of loved ones, dramatic increase in this in the last few years, the government, the lockdowns, all of these things, when you
Yes.
keep adding this into your life and you just keep, and we don't have a release, a way to let it go, our bodies store this as trapped energy. And if we don't deal with it properly, and dealing with it, Mario, isn't what the male society has been told, which is suck it up, push it down, don't cry, get on with it. Right? That's what
Well,
we're
Tim,
taught.
if you don't do this, you are less worthy. Isn't that, well, at least my father told me that
Right.
the man is not allowed to cry and to complain and to feel the pain.
So what do you do with it?
Well,
You push it.
yeah, I'm sucking up.
You
Yes,
suck it
correct.
up.
That's correct. Yes.
Does
Yes.
it ever come out?
Oh,
It
yes, of
does.
course, but nobody see that. Yeah.
Well, here's how it comes out. Poor sleep. Erratic mood swings. You get angry about things that you didn't used to get angry about. You have pain in your neck, in your back. Your muscles go into spasm. You have high blood pressure, poor heart conditions. Dis-ease starts to form. You get ill, you get sick more often than you used to. You have no energy. Where you used to do sport, you don't find interest in anymore. You're lethargic. Your sleeping patterns, you're erratic. You can't connect with people. All
True.
because of a stressed environment, a stressed state. Let me tell you a quick story. I got a client. He's been doing the breathwork sessions with me for a while now. Last week, a few days ago, after the journey, I'll explain what a journey is with you just now. It's a deep breathing session, NLP, music, stress release. He told me that the week before he'd been to the doctor because he's been feeling very lack of energy, and he thought he was getting sick. He thought he was coming up with something. So the doctor did blood tests, blood pressure, heart. Everything came back. The doctor said, there's nothing wrong with you. But this guy was feeling absolutely drained. His tension, his neck was like this. He couldn't move. His back was tight, so he went to a chiropractor. Thought maybe, out of alignment. Chiropractor looks at him, gives him massage, no difference. The chiropractor says, my friend, you're stressed. And he says, no, man, I'm not. I'm busy. I've got he's got his own business.
I'm busy.
Yes. My girlfriend's left me, but that's normal. But work is okay, but it's not stress. But he knows me. We met a month ago. So when I spoke to him last week and he was telling me that, he's feeling stressed, I said, my friend, come. I'm doing a journey. Come and join. Relax. Afterwards, this is what he said to me. He didn't tell me about his neck and the tension and the doctors and the chiropractor until after. I then said, how are you feeling? And he said, this is the first time I do not have tension in my neck and my back in weeks. I feel calm. What happened during the process was his body had been storing all this built up stress. And when this happens, your muscles contract. So what you think is a massage is going to relax me, it doesn't. That's because you're putting, it's like taking a pain pill for a migraine, but you're not getting to the root source of what's causing the migraine.
So you're just masking the problem, right? That's what it is.
Masking the problem. So with the release that his body was allowed to do, the tension on his neck went. I asked him the next morning, I sent him a message, how are you feeling today? He said, I slept the best I've slept in months.
I slept.
And today, I feel I have energy, and he's doing this. He says, look, I can move. So, going back to your question, men, don't cry. Get on with it. That's life. Life is hard. Deal with it. Get on it. And you think, okay, I'm going to, without realizing what you're doing is you're storing this anxiety, this stress, this trauma in your body. And how are you meant to perform optimally as a man if you don't deal with it? So don't let it out by shouting at your wife or the children or your boss or the client.
Yeah.
That's not a release. That's anger. And the anger is formed from the stress.
So
here's the thing. Yeah, go.
Yeah. So we are, obviously society is changing. The way how we tackle the problems is changing. So our parents, at least they are not with me for some time. And, I try to explore the different avenues, of the being better, right? Not just being healthy, but being better as a person and mentally, most importantly. But you mentioned that our human well-being, depending upon good breathing. And I laughed at the beginning when we started conversing, when you telling me, Mario, I'm 51 years old, I learned how to breathe, and I think myself, who I'm talking to, I'm breathing every day. So I like to touch this one with the purpose. We talk about purpose. We spoke about stress and, the life itself, how we're building life about expectations of other people. And yet, at the end of the day, we come home exhausted. We are stressed, and possibly, people have the problems with the heart, with the breathing, and all these things. And you discover the technique with the breathing to help people. Can you guide us to that process and explain us what breathing it is? What you're referring to breathing. And maybe at the end, maybe you can give us some example how people can practice a little bit before talk to you.
That's an excellent question, Mario. You've got a balance between your daily breathing habits, being what I call a conscious, connected breather. In other words, being aware of your breath. And I'll tell you why it's so important in a moment. And within this, releasing that trauma, that stress, and that anxiety which is built in your body. If you just mask the problem by saying, okay, I'm going to breathe deep, and there's lots of techniques which you can use to calm yourself or lift
Yes.
yourself.
Yeah.
There's lots, which is fantastic during the day.
Yes.
However, if you're not dealing with all of this past and you're just leaving it there, you're not going to have the true impact. So you need to deal with both the daily breathing techniques, being aware of your breath, and also dealing with the past, the traumas, by doing a true transformative breathwork practice, which is, a lot of people use meditation, yoga people believe, and they do, quite rightly so. Yoga is about breathing. This is all part of it. So breathing is not a new thing. Breathing is definitely not a new modality. There was a study done a few years ago in America with 157 fatal heart attack victims. And what they discovered was that 100% of these were mouth breathers. In other words, they were breathing through their mouth.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question here.
How else you can do breathing? Like,
How else do you breathe? Okay.
it's like, I'm sorry laughing because, like you said, mouth breathing. I'm like,
Mouth breather.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Our bodies are designed to breathe in and out through our nose.
Let
me ask you,
okay.
let me ask you a couple of questions. Mario, if you're in a stressful state, you're anxious, you're tense, do you breathe through your nose or mouth?
Nose, yes, always.
When you're stressed or your anxiety or somebody's having a panic attack, they breathe through their mouth.
Yes, correct, yes.
All right. When you're in that state of anxiety, stress, panic, do you breathe fast or slow?
Faster.
Faster. You breathe faster. Do you breathe from your chest or do you breathe from your belly, your diaphragm?
From chest, I think, yeah?
You breathe from your chest. Does your heartbeat go faster or go slower?
Or faster, you can feel it.
Feel it.
It's racing.
Does your blood pressure go
Like a
up?
Formula One, yeah?
Does your blood pressure go up or go
Everything
down?
goes up.
Goes up.
Up, yeah?
Fast breathing from your chest through your mouth, high blood pressure, that is the danger, and it's an epidemic worldwide. It's a worldwide problem. That is the stress state. See, when you breathe through your mouth, you breathe into your chest. This is fight or flight. Our bodies were designed to breathe through the mouth, into the chest, high blood pressure, fast heartbeat, move fast, because we used to run from the tiger that was chasing us or the bear that was chasing us, and we had to get away from it.
That's correct, yes.
So what happened thousands of years ago, once you got away from the tiger and you were safe in your cave, you calmed. You stopped breathing from your chest. You closed your mouth. Your blood pressure dropped. Your heart rate dropped. You breathe through your nose. And you went, because now the threat is gone. In our modern world, the threat never leaves. We carry it all around. It's around us all the time in this fast-paced, stressed life and environment. So which means we are living here. 90% of the society, it's not in Australia, Canada, US, South Africa, it's the same. We're living and breathing from our chest. And when you breathe here, you're remaining in a constant stress state. So here's a tip for you. You asked me, share something which people can do now, here, today, right? How can I change this now?
Yes.
Mario, shut your mouth.
Okay.
And I say it with love, empathy, and affection.
Yes.
Shut your mouth. When you breathe through your nose, there's a lot of benefits for breathing through your nose. When you breathe through your nose, you warm the air. It filters the air. It also increases something called nitric oxide. Very few people understand or know nitric oxide, because this stuff's not taught at school. We need nitric oxide in order to help with the absorption of oxygen into our blood. We're taught, breathe through your mouth. Take a big breath through your mouth.
Yeah. Yes, that's correct. I'm repeating now as because, yes, I was being taught that way to the mouth, yes.
Now, when you just did that, you breathed here.
Correct, yes.
When you breathe through your nose, you breathe in your belly. Your diaphragm expands. More comes into your lungs. Your nose, breathe in your belly. So here's the sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight. Your belly is your parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest.
Rest and digest.
So step one, shut your mouth. And when if somebody ever says to you, Mario, shut your mouth, you go, thank you for reminding me. I love that you care so much about my health. Because they are not telling you from an anger position, they're telling you from they care for you and your health. That's the start.
Yeah.
So there's an amazing amount of misperception in the world about breathing, about the importance of breath, and how your breath is the only form of your autonomic nervous system that you have control of. So your autonomic nervous system is everything that happens automatically in your body. Your blood pressure, your heartbeat, your digestion, your body temperature, and your breathing, because you're not aware of it, is done automatically, right?
Yes.
Can you control your heartbeat? Can you think,
No, I can't.
You can't.
No,
You can't control your blood pressure, your digestion, but you can control your breathing. And your breathing is the only part of your autonomic nervous system that you can use to control blood pressure, heartbeat, body temperature, stress state, digestion. It is your magic superpower for controlling yourself. By calming yourself in a stressed environment, you breathe slower through your mouth. If you're tired and you've got a big meeting coming up, do an exercise which uplifts you by taking deep breaths in through your mouth and out through your mouth, because that's going to elevate your fight or flight, to lift you, to get the endorphins running, to waken your brain.
Yeah. Yes.
All controlled through your breath. And that's where we have society around the world, chronic overbreathers, because we live breathing through our mouth, and we're not giving ourselves the time to calm. And it's all done through breath.
And you, Tim, I presume. Yeah, sorry.
I can see you're connecting on this because you're thinking, and when you're breathing, you think,
I'm very much. I'm thinking quite a lot here because I'm going to try to recollection my memory, like what I've done today with my breathing and anything else. And interesting enough, nobody speaks about breathing. Nobody, no doctor speaks. I mean, nobody bringing to that importance our breathing. And I'm glad I spoke to you today. But before we wind up, Tim, I'd like to ask you, how do you helping people? What is the services you offering to that breathing? Is something else or just the breathing?
What I did last year when I introduced my professional pointer coaching program, where I focus on helping people identify purpose, meaning, their values, who they are, who they want to be. When I introduced this, I introduced breathwork within the program in order to help people move forward. What I then have found is that I need to focus on the stress release first.
Oh, okay.
So what I now offer is I've got a free 60-minute guided transformational breathwork journey for people to experience what it is all about. Words don't lead to new knowledge or understanding. Experience does. So I offer a transformational breathwork journey where you're guided. It's a very peaceful, you lie down, all you do is breathe, you say nothing, you listen to music and you listen to some beautiful communication, and you breathe deeply through a guidance process to then realize and see the benefits of what it can actually do for you. When you understand that, then we connect, find out what it is that you're actually needing, and come together with a program in order to help you move through. You see, we all have different amounts of trapped energy, trauma, stress, anxiety from our years of life, right?
Yes.
And each of these times you do a guided breathwork journey, it's like peeling an onion. We've all got different amounts of layers in this onion. And when you go through a journey, you're going to take off one layer, which will do a release. Let me explain what a release may be. Can I give you 1 minute explanation of what I mean?
Sure, absolutely. Absolutely, Tim. Absolutely, Tim.
Imagine you've got this bottle of sparkling water.
Yes.
And you notice on the bottle of sparkling water, on the outside of the bottle, there's bubbles, right? They sit there.
Yes.
Right? And when you tap the bottle, the bubbles release. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So now imagine the bottle is your body. And the bubbles is stored energy. And the stored energy is your body's storage of the past experiences, trauma, anxiety, stresses. Your body doesn't store memory, it stores energy. And the bubbles represent energy. So when we come to do the somatic breathing, the deep breathing for a period of time, the breathing is like tapping the body, which releases then the energy.
Yes.
So without saying a word, your body will do intrinsically what it has been designed to do, and that is heal itself. Because that's what our bodies can do. Our bodies are the most amazing machines. They are absolutely amazing. And if we allow them to, they will heal themselves. And the breath work allows our mind to go to sleep so that our bodies can actually kickstart and do what it needs to do intrinsically and heal itself, release the stress, release the energy, release that anxiety. Then you're in a position to actually move forward.
I'm glad I'm talking to you today, Tim, because I truly believe that people need more Tim Wagner. People need
I agree.
Different approach to the health. Yes, why we don't accept something what we possess to cure ourselves or make them better, which is a control breathing work, rather than just get the pills. But Tim, how do people can contact you? Where is the best place people can find you and contact you and inquire, about breathing and stress and anxiety and all these things, and find their purpose in life?
Fantastic. So I'm actively on LinkedIn. That's the best way to find me, is you can get a lot of my recordings, my posts, my material there as well. And I have a landing page where I explain a lot more about transformational breathwork, and also where you can get the free link to join the journey. And that is professional pointer /breathwork. I'll make sure you've got that link so you can share that for me.
Yes.
And on there you can also book for a 30 minutes connective discussion. So on there you can book directly. It goes direct to my calendar. Click on it, book on there, book a time, and let's connect for a talk to find out where you're at and what is actually needed for you in your present place and time. And then we can start working a journey together. So you're welcome to join a free session, to experience it. I love experience. It was the experience which was that aha moment for me that changed my stage and journey, was that experience, not the discussion. But if you want to have a discussion to see a little bit more, happy to connect for a 30-minute session, and we can take it from there.
Well, Tim, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Wagner from South Africa right now on your doorstep. Deliver to all of you guys who are looking to discover the purpose in their life. What is your purpose in your life? How to deal with the stress. The answers are here contained in this interview. All what you need to do is just to talk to Tim Wagner. Tim, thank you very much for being my guest today on our podcast Life the Battlefield. Thank you for sharing your unique journey, for sharing your knowledge, expertise, and I have no doubt that many people from this podcast who are listening, watching, they're gonna come in touch with you. Thank you, Tim, very much for being my
Blessed.
guest today.
Thank you, Mario. Respect you a lot. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and I look forward to further connections down the line.
Absolutely. We're going to have the more of this, ladies and gentlemen, Tim Wagner, and I'm going to put in the comment section below the links how you can contact him. So be in touch with him and become the better than you are right now.